I want a traditional Christmas with snow and stockings and eggnog and carolers.
Jake was looking forward to the best Christmas of his life.
Still planning on coming home for Christmas?
Yes, sir.
He and Allie were flying home to be with his family.
Pick you up tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Until a practical joke
Something wrong, fellas?
changed his plan.
All right, Jake, where are you?
Changed his wardrobe.
I'm in the middle of nowhere, dressed like Santa Claus, being attacked by a killer buzzard.
Changed his life.
Wish I were dead. I said I wished I were dead. Get out of there!
Mama's teeth have fallen out of her mouth again.
Santa's got a brand new bag.
Santa just yammied in your handbag.
But now, his unbelievable journey
Come on, Jake. We can make it.
Father Christmas, just tell me what you want from me.
is about to become something very special.
Maybe I should just go with it. Put this on, act like my elf. How do elves act? Happy.
Walt Disney Pictures invites you
No, don't turn left, don't turn left!
to join Jonathan Taylor Thomas
Hi, Santa Claus.
for the ultimate Christmas feeling.
Oh boy, wet lap, wet lap.
Disney's I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Check this out, tell me what's better. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas!
The first one's good for really little kids, and the second one's good if you want to scare people and watch them run away screaming.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a bonus episode of a very special podcast. This is the podcast where we watch all your favorite TV shows and movies from yesteryear and then discuss them over a bottle of wine. I'm Patrick M. Dunn. You probably remember me from the previous, what are we up to now, 36 maybe?
I have no idea. I have lost count.
Yeah, I lost count too, but we've done over 30 episodes. You can find me on Twitter at Patrick M. Dunn is my handle, and patrickmdunn.com, and I'm Tumblr. I think it's patrickmdunn.tumblr.com, but enough about me. Enough about me. I'm joined here by Kat Halstead, the author.
Hello.
Welcome back to another exciting holiday episode. It's still Christmas time.
Yes, I created a monster this year with Christmas. You have taken, all the stuff I would normally do for Christmas, and you're doing it.
Yeah, and so we decided to do bonus episodes this year, I think, right?
Yeah, I think part of it is because we kept, recording episodes last year that just had technical difficulties for Christmas, so they never got posted. So I think, in a way, we're making up for what we missed last year.
Yes. So, we already did a movie. We did the Babes in Toyland TV movie, but we didn't do a theatrical release. So we wanted to do a theatrical release movie.
Yes, we did.
So, in case you didn't read the description, we did I'll Be Home for Christmas. It's a Walt Disney movie from the late 90s?
Yes. Yes, it is a Disney movie from 1998 starring Jonathan Taylor Thomas, JTT, Jessica Biel, and Adam Lavorgna.
Who's Adam Lavorgna again?
He plays Eddie.
Oh, Eddie's the villain, kind of, right?
Yeah, he's the villain.
And the movie also stars Gary Cole, who is it seems like the mid to late 90s were a great time for him, because he was always the dad and stuff.
Yeah, he's still always the dad.
Yeah. This was Gary Cole prime time right here, this movie here.
Yeah.
Let's see. He also was in he was the Brady Bunch dad. He was Mike Brady.
Oh yeah. That's right. He was Mike Brady in the movie.
All right. I knew he was he had a prominent role, something that meant something to us. But
Oh, Patrick.
So where did this movie come out in relation to JTT's fame? Was he still on Home Improvement at this point in time?
I believe this came out after he had left Home Improvement.
And I guess he was going to kind of go into a film career?
Well, here's the thing. I believe when JTT left Home Improvement, he said it was because he wanted to go to school, get an education. But before he did that, he made this movie, and there was some tension between him and Tim Allen about that.
About this movie, or just like leaving the show to do movies or school or whatever?
Yeah. Well, like, JTT had done several movies already because he was the voice of young Simba in The Lion King. He did the movie with Farrah Fawcett and Chevy Chase.
Oh, Man of the House?
He did that movie. Yeah, Man of the House. He did Wild Things.
Wild America.
I forget what it was called.
Yes,
Wild America. I just saw it on iTunes. I almost rented it. I was like, I'll save it for another day.
Yeah. And he did like a Disney version of Tom and Huck.
Yes.
And
he did that.
He was in like a Pinocchio update, like a cartoon Pinocchio.
Mm-hmm.
And the one you mentioned, Wild America, and then there was another one that he did that I vaguely remember. We said Man of the House already, right? Oh, Speedway.
Yeah.
Right. I said looked up. He was in Speedway Junkie. This came out in 1999. It was about like race cars. This is like pre Fast and the Furious.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might have been like kind of like his last movie for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, because he did stop acting for a while. He might pop up every once in a while in a guest appearance.
Yeah, I think...
Like, he had a small role on 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. He was one of Bridget Haley Cuoco's boyfriends.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
and
he definitely showed up on Veronica Mars as, like, a bad guy at one point in time, too. And I think Smallville.
Yeah,
he was like a villain.
He did some, like, small roles, like just 1 or 2 episode type things. He's been on Tim Allen's new show a few times.
Oh, really?
Yes. He had a role as this guy who was friends with the oldest daughter in high school, and he owned a restaurant that she worked at. And Tim's character, Mike, was always like, I like this kid. I don't know why I like this kid, but I like this kid.
It's his, like, surrogate
son. You look familiar. Do I know you? And then there was another time where he actually had another role on the show where he played Patricia Richardson's son in, like, the end gag of an episode, where she was playing a next-door neighbor who is building stuff with power tools and driving Mike crazy.
Patricia Richardson is Jill from Home Improvement, right? That's the actress?
Correct.
Who I think we decided in our last year's Christmas episode that we did of Home Improvement, I think we decided that, or I decided that she was the most unfun mom on television ever.
Yeah, you decided that. I'm still not sure.
You don't think she's an unfun mom?
You know who I think is a really unfun mom? The mom from Mrs. Belvedere. What did she ever do that was fun?
We might have to watch an episode of Mr. Belvedere because I don't remember anything except for the AIDS episode.
Oh, God.
But I can't even place the mom for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, maybe if we do, like, special...
So, if we, like, really researched it, we could find other moms who are less fun. Like, I think Jill... She put together Halloween parties, and she put together cool birthday parties for the boys, so she wasn't, like, totally lame.
Yeah, but she's always, like, she just immediately sees the negative side of things, like, right off the bat.
But she's married to Tim.
I know.
She's always blowing stuff up and getting hurt.
Well, it's her fault, because she stayed married to him after all these years, even though he, like, almost burned down the house, like, 16 times in one season.
That's true.
Yeah, so it's her own fault. So.
Oh well.
I'm sure she could have found a new husband. Maybe Al Borland.
Oh yeah, she probably could have gotten out if she really wanted him.
Yeah. Oh, well. So, should we get into the movie, or do we have any other
Yeah,
tidbits?
let's get into this movie.
Should we? All right, so we already mentioned that Jessica Biel was in this, right?
Yes.
This is like a very early role for her. So, Seventh Heaven, I believe, was already like out at this point, correct?
Yes, she was on Seventh Heaven. So, but this is before she tried to like shed the wholesome good girl image. So this is probably like one of her last like good girl image kind of things.
Okay, yeah, because I was reading earlier, so in 2000, she appeared topless on the cover of Gear magazine, which I don't even know what that is. She was only 17 years old at the time, and the producers of Seventh Heaven were outraged, and they basically...
Well, yeah, because, I mean, Seventh Heaven was like this wholesome show about a minister and his family. Now, we know that things were not as wholesome with the cast.
Well,
but
I was going to say that Jessica Biel appearing topless on a magazine is the least scandalous thing that came out from that show.
Yeah, it really is. But before, it's like, what, a year and a half ago, that was the most scandalous thing.
Yeah, what was that guy's name again?
Except for maybe, like, how sexualized Ruthie got towards the end. I feel like Ruthie got pretty scandalous towards the end.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, I'm a little fuzzy on my Seventh Heaven stuff, especially that last season that kind of got added on after it had been canceled.
See, I never really...
But the CW was starting, and they're like, we need something! We need Seventh Heaven back! And you got, like, a third of the cast, like, all these random new people.
I think, like, Haley Duff was on it, too, wasn't she? In the rebooted version of it.
Oh, I think she was Simon's, like, sketchy girlfriend.
They had to have, like, a bad girlfriend, like, a bad, like, streak of characters. Well, Seventh Heaven...
Like, there was a point where, like, all the kids kind of got a little, like, weird. I think the only one who didn't get, like, super, like, weird were Matt and, Lucy.
Yeah. I just read Seventh Heaven was on for 11 seasons.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I didn't realize it was on that long. Ugh.
Okay, so Seventh Heaven was one of those shows that, like, I would get, like, really into, and then I kind of, like, get really out of it. And then I get really into it, and I get really out of it. So I kind of had, like, waves of being, like, into it.
I never really watched it, but I've definitely seen episodes. And I remember, like, some character... I just remember there was, like, definitely an episode about bullying. I remember that one. And,
there were, like, a million episodes about bullying. There was always, like, a lesson in the episode.
Doesn't she go through menopause in an episode? I kind of remember that, too, for some reason.
Probably, like, sometime after she had the twins.
Okay, and then there's definitely episodes that deal with, like, menstruation and periods and stuff. I definitely remember those.
Mm-hmm.
The show got into, like...
Then you have, like, the alcoholic aunt, and Mary runs off and gets married to some random guy.
Yeah, and then I think, like, when Ruthie became, like, a teenager, I think they had, like, an episode of her, like, buying a bra, too. I kind of remember that.
Yeah.
I definitely, like, stuck around for, like, the big episodes. I don't know, that must have been it.
It must have been a huge one for you.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, Ruthie gets a bra! Could you imagine, like...
Well, actually, I could see it, because Lucy was about our age, and we were probably curious about bras.
Like that...
And, like, girls buying them. So, yeah, I could see you being into that episode.
I just remember, like, the WB, like, advertising it, like, this week, Ruthie gets a bra.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so
yeah.
we watched I'll Be Home for Christmas. It's a Disney film from 1998. It's like a family comedy. I kind of went into this, because I watched this a few weeks ago originally, and I kind of went into this thinking I was going to do, like, a series of bad Christmas movies for the website. And so this is the first one I watched. I kind of went into it going, like, this is going to be awful. only because I read some of like the critical response of the movie. Like Roger Ebert just said it was awful. Rotten Tomatoes gives it like a 23% based on like 43 reviews, and the critical consensus is that neither parent nor child will find any merriment in this mess. And I watched it, and I was kind of engaged in it. Like I was like, you know what? I don't actually mind this movie.
Yeah, this is actually one of my favorite Christmas movies. It doesn't feel like Christmas if I haven't seen this movie.
Oh, for real? So you watch this like annually?
Oh yeah, I watch it every year.
Wow. Okay. So I've
sometimes multiple times.
I remember it coming out because I just remember the poster. It's Jonathan Taylor Thomas like in a Santa costume. And he's like leaning against a cactus, and I just remember seeing that poster at the movie theater when I was a teenager, just going, "God, that looks awful." But I never thought of it until this year.
Yeah, see, I didn't see it in the theaters. I think I actually just bought the VHS because it was Jonathan Taylor Thomas, and I figured I would like it. So I used to have the Disney VHS in the big clamshell case.
Oh, it came in a clamshell case?
I would watch it all the time.
It came in a clamshell case?
Yeah, it came in a clamshell case.
I thought those were just for their animated films.
Nope.
So they're live
Almost
actions?
Every Disney, like there's some that didn't, but like the original version of The Parent Trap I had on VHS didn't come in a clamshell.
What about Blank Check?
I'll Be Home for Christmas did.
What?
I have no idea.
I wonder what Disney's like preference is to put a movie in a clamshell case.
Yeah, well, they don't really worry about that anymore since they're now Disney DVD Blu-ray combos.
Yeah. See, the problem with the clamshell case is it never fit in your like VHS rack.
Well, yeah, you had to have like a whole row of just like your clamshell cases. And then every other company, like, did the just basic paper box type thing.
The cardboard box. I kind of liked the cardboard box, and I love.
I'm actually like sitting here looking at a pile of VHS tapes. All the Disney ones are clamshells.
I forgot that you have like a VHS collection. Like you have a lot of them, don't you?
Okay. In my storage unit right now, I have one of those big Rubbermaid tote bins full of like recorded VHSs that I don't even know what's on those things. They're like soap opera episodes. They're probably like Christmas episodes of old TV shows.
Do you think the commercials are still on?
Like Lord only knows what's on those tapes.
Do you think?
Yeah, with the commercials and everything.
I used to love when you watched an old VHS tape that you recorded something and you got to see like old commercials. For some reason, that was just always exciting to me. I don't know why.
You know, you can go on YouTube and find bunches of old commercials.
Oh, I know. That's the beauty of YouTube. Like when YouTube came along, they finally just like some dumbass just saved all their VHSs and then just like ripped them onto YouTube one day.
Yeah.
That's why they're always like shoddy like versions of it.
Yep.
Like you can watch like Seinfeld like trailer like commercials for like episodes or like a must see TV night, like a random must see TV night commercial that's like 30 seconds long. And you get the they always have like the water, you know, the watermark that they would put in the bottom of the screen. Like some of those even have that still.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's why.
In my room right now, like there's a pile of VHSs that like my nephew to watch. So there's like The Lion King and just some random stuff, E.T. Or maybe stuff my stepmom watched. Oh my God, there's a VHS of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Ugh. See, I would kill just to have like VHS.
FYI, it is not a clamshell.
It isn't?
It isn't.
Well, I think Who Framed Roger Rabbit was Disney, but it was also done by like Touchstone, so I think it was...
It is Touchstone Pictures and Steven Spielberg present a Robert Zemeckis film.
Yeah, there was different hands in the pot, so it wasn't like completely Disney.
Yeah.
Because they had to get the rights.
I know what Aunt Kitty's watching later tonight.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I'm going to watch a VHS of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
It's actually on Netflix, so you can just do that too, unless you insist on watching the VHS version. Although, I bet it would be very magical because you'd have to like adjust the tracking stuff, which is something I miss doing.
Yeah.
I kind of miss doing that.
Oh yeah, adjusting the tracking and getting everything just right.
Do you remember when you first got DVD and you would hit pause and it would actually be like a full like still of like the actual screen and not like a blurry like pause screen?
Yes, it's so weird. I was so confused by like how to work the and you can't skip past the FBI warning when we used to be able to just rewind or fast forward through it.
Yeah, like if you went to Blockbuster and you rented a VHS, you would just instantly hit fast forward, go through all the previews, like the weird commercials they would throw in. But now, like then DVDs, you used to be able to just hit menu, but then like the film companies got smart and they would make you like you couldn't bypass it.
Oh yeah, especially like if you go to like the red box, that version you cannot bypass those at all.
Ugh. It's so annoying because you don't want to sit there for like 20 minutes and watch like trailers for movies that have already come out.
Like if I wanted to watch that movie, I'd be watching that movie.
Like I know like a lot of people like to watch the previews when they go to movie theaters. I usually like don't. That's like when I go down to the concession line or maybe I go to the bathroom. I just don't really care because you can watch trailers online, so it's pointless just to watch them in a movie theater.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind the trailers when I go to the movie. What I hate are all those stupid commercials for like whatever the theater's advertising. It's always something stupid.
Like Geico Insurance or something.
Or it's those like special little pre-movie programs that the movie companies put out.
Oh, like the
It's like where they always have like this annoying host and I'm just like, nobody likes you people. Like everybody's sitting here playing on their phones right now.
They have those like ads.
The only thing that drives me crazy is when you have like a bunch of commercials and then you still have like 20 minutes of trailers before your movie starts.
And then you
That's how it was when I went to see the latest Hunger Games with stepmom.
And then you have those ads that show you like how to like throw trash away, and they map out like the exit things. And then they'll like if you go to see a 3D movie, they'll have some like animated video of like a roller coaster or something.
And not any of the 3D movies I've gone to.
You've never had like they'll like you go to a 3D movie and they'll just kind of like have like the movie theater company will have some kind of like preview of like promoting their chain, but they'll make it look like they'll use the 3D effects. So you're on a roller coaster and there's like like the no smoking sign like bounces out of the screen at you. I don't know. I've definitely seen it a few times. I don't know what.
Yeah, not at the theaters I have been to in the last several years.
Maybe we have. I don't know. Maybe we have different movie theater chains out here than wherever you've gone.
Yeah, we have different chains. Like, well, okay, don't forget, I was living in Minnesota.
Yeah. Well, I thought
we have this like really random movie theater chain.
Isn't like
that we
AMC?
Went to all the time.
AMC is national, right?
Yeah, but that's not what I had.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I had some like smaller company that had like theaters in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, and so.
Do you have Showcase?
There would be times where the movies would not change at the theater for like a month.
I hate that.
And I'd be like, oh my god, I've seen all of these. Get something new. We're going to Wisconsin this weekend to watch a movie instead.
Crossing the state lines.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we should probably get into the movie. It's a long movie that we have to go through.
Let's get into this Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
All right, so
movie.
My question here. So the movie opens up. So he's Jonathan Taylor Thomas's character Jake. Is he in college or is this like a high school?
Okay, this is where I got freaking confused. This is like one of my few issues with this movie. So Jake's like maybe 18. And he's away at school. The thing is, he's been away at school for several years. And I think like the opening...
It says Palisades College.
It says college, right?
Yeah, it says Palisades College, Los Angeles, California. And you kind of like get this aerial view of the school. But then it goes inside the school and there's lockers. Like there's like
there's lockers, and they refer to it as the academy. It's like 10 other academy kids are going home back east for Christmas, and Jake stands me up, and I miss a chance for a ride. You know, they keep referring it to Halstead's Academy.
Yeah, but
So I'm wondering if there's just confusion with the editing.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Or like one of those studio notes later is like, this has to be college because they're drinking. Well, then there's this party where I'm guessing Jake is drinking.
They're insinuating that alcohol was consumed, but you see people in the background drinking from cups and dancing, but you don't actually they don't specify that it's alcohol. So
true.
And it's definitely some kind of boarding school because they all live in dormitories.
Yeah.
But so that's like I got confused because like if you had a dorm, why would you need a locker? Like if you had a place to go back and put your books.
That's the locker thing. I feel like the lockers were just there for that joke of locking the one kid in. Like
the nerdy Screech-like kid that is friends with Jonathan Taylor Thomas's character. And Jonathan Taylor Thomas is like, he kind of has like a Zach Morris mindset. He's always scheming. He always has some plot.
Yes.
He's kind of like a con man, actually.
Yes, in my notes. I totally brought up the Zach Morris thing in my notes.
Because I believe he makes fake IDs for the jocks. He makes fake IDs for the jocks.
Yeah, he makes fake IDs for the jocks that, like, don't work out well because, for whatever reason.
They can't get into the club.
And he's like, well, I can get you the answers to your test. Here's, for free, but here's a beeper. Here's the beeper, and there's a beeper rental. Yeah,
so what happens, I guess, these are the kind of, like, pagers where you can text people, I guess. It's not like phone numbers, so you can actually, like, write words. So he hands the beepers to the jocks, and then he has one of the jocks, like, throw the test out the window, and then Jonathan Taylor Thomas gives it to his geeky friend, who runs back to his computer and, like, Googles the answers, and then he sends...
He doesn't even Google them. He goes to, like, some website where he can page the guys with the answers and type them in.
Yeah, so did he know, like, does he know the answers, or did he just, like, Google the answers, or whatever
I think he knows the answers.
Okay. So he just writes the answers, and then the beepers are going off in the classroom, and the teacher just looks up, and she's like, shh, like, and then while they're, like, the jocks don't even try to hide the pagers, they're just, like, they have it in front of them, and they're reading it, and then looking down and writing. It was so obvious that they were cheating.
Yeah, they're all like, Coach likes to keep in touch.
Yeah. It was just...
Like, what?
Like, even during tests. Like, I don't know. But I guess this is, like, we're thinking...
Okay. Now, I had a beeper back in 1998.
I think everybody... Actually, I don't think I ever had a pager.
If I had gotten caught with it in class, I would have been dead. Do you know who beeped me back then?
Your parents?
My dad would page me. You would page me. Our friend Steven and our friend Mariah. That's who would page me.
I paged you?
Yeah, you would page me.
What would I page you? Like my
and then
phone
I would
number?
call and be like, yeah, I got a beep from this number. And like, it was always like your mom would answer the phone. And she's like, I think you have the wrong number. I was like, okay.
I have no memory of that.
Yeah, I had a beeper and you would beep me.
I don't even...
You didn't do it often.
Like, I would just, like, write down my phone number. I wouldn't actually, like, send a message, right?
Yeah, you would just, like, put in your phone number, and then I would call the number and be like, yeah, hi, I got it, because I didn't know who it was. Like, the first couple times, I didn't realize who it was. Because it's just this random number, and then you would tell me later, oh, yeah, I tried to beep you earlier.
A pager is such a weird concept. It was so popular back then.
I was having this discussion with my stepmom yesterday about how weird beepers are.
Yeah, I never like...
Because doctors still use beepers.
Yeah, I can see, like, a doctor using it, because you get a message and they probably send you, like, codes or, like, maybe whatever the doctor codes are, but I just, like, my mother would drop me off at the mall and she had a pager, and she would give me the pager, And then she would page me, and then I'd have to go find a payphone and call her. And then it was just like, why don't you just tell me to call you at 8 o'clock? Or whatever time that...
Yeah, well, like, the beeper I had, it was my dad's hand-me-down. Because, like, one time I went babysitting, and, like, he forgot I was babysitting, and I didn't come home at, like, the hour he thought I was going to be home.
So he paged
and
you?
he's like, okay, that's it. I need to be able to get a hold of you. And this is, like, before cell phones were really, like, a thing.
Well,
like, beepers were the way.
Well, cell phones were in existence, but they were just expensive as hell.
Well, yeah, like, my dad had one, and, like, my mom had one, but I don't, like, he would give me my mom's old cell phone every once in a while, like, when I went out.
Yeah, it probably cost, like, $40 to make, like, a 10-second phone call.
Yeah, he just, like, gave me the beeper, and then I always had, like, a calling card.
Oh, yeah,
I could, like, use the payphone.
I definitely had calling cards. You would go to, like, 7-Eleven and you'd buy a calling card and it'd be, like, 20 minutes.
Or, like, you'd have, like, the Sprint card, which was just, like, your Sprint account kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember, like, the first time I went on vacation, like, with no parents. I remember I went to Montreal. I was, like, 18, and I had to buy a calling card and just call my mom every day just to let her know I was still alive.
Or when we went off to college, we had to use calling cards to call home.
Yeah, because you didn't have, like, a phone in your room. You had, like, a payphone, like a communal payphone.
Actually, I did have a phone in my room, but they were only local calls.
Like, you can only call, like, inside the building?
Yeah, you could call on campus or locally in town.
Like
to get into town, you had to dial 9 and then dial the number.
And then if you were in the building, you could just do like an extension,
all
right?
the phones on campus, the last 4 digits were like your extension. So I could call like my boyfriend across campus just by dialing the 4 numbers for his room and leave him a voicemail if he wasn't home.
Oh, interesting.
And then he could call me back. Or he could just drop by my room and weird out all my guy friends who lived in my hall, like, who is this guy Kat is dating?
Oh, you could also instant message, too, at that point.
Yeah, oh my god, I was so awful to this one boyfriend back in the day. I wouldn't give him my main AIM name.
So, would you have, like, a secondary one?
I gave him, like, my backup. Yeah, I had a secondary one.
Like, one you never signed into, maybe, like, once a week?
Yeah, I, like, signed into it, like, every once in a while, like, but part of it was just, like, we talk all the time. He would call all the time, or he would just drop by, and I was like, you don't need this way to contact me. I was like, I need a little space. And plus, I'd always have an away message up anyways.
Yeah, I kind of miss, like, away messages for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I miss just, like, leaving an away message.
Because it would basically just explain why you weren't going to write back right away. Like, I wish you could kind of do that with, like, text, and, like, Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, it was basically, like, I would put up something, like, one time my roommate insisted I go camping with her and her boyfriend. So I was like, I got dragged out camping. If I'm not back by Sunday night, worry.
And it was like the old it was like a stat at the modern day status update, because you would have to let people know where you are. You'd just be like, at a party.
Or it's like down the hall getting drunk. I was terrible. I was terrible.
Then, well, when away messages first came out, you could only read them if you sent a message to a person. But then, they made it so you can actually, like, see it without having to message the person. So then you can just kind of, like, see what they were up to without messaging them.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was cool. And then, like, it would put the little, there would be, like, a weird little, like, box, like an icon that would be next to the name.
Oh yeah, so you knew they were away.
Oh yeah, and idle was cool
see what
too.
Their message was.
Like your screen name would gray out if you were idle.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool too. So like you would know if someone was there or not.
Yeah.
The best though was when you would like send a message to somebody and then they would just become unidle like 2 seconds later, and then they would just never respond to you.
Yeah.
I always thought like people never realize that.
Oh my gosh, I miss away messages.
I do too. So anyway,
God, we're such dorks.
Yeah, so where are we in the movie? Have we even started talking about it? We just talked about pagers for like 10 minutes.
We were talking, because we got on this tangent because of the beepers that Jake gives the jocks.
Yeah, alright, so the plan doesn't work because one of the other jocks, Eddie, who ends up being like the main villain of the episode, and he's like one of Jake's biggest nemesis. He sees the nerdy kid like run off into his dorm with the tests, and he must know that he like what he's up to, so he follows him back, and he basically just writes a message to the jocks taking a test like "game over, losers" or something like that.
Yeah, which is ridiculous because these are his friends that he's doing this to. Yeah,
they all there's the Ed man and there's like the Brent man. It's their first name with man at the end of it. That was like what they referred to themselves as. And so, the reason...
So, yeah, he does this to his friends. Eddie is scum.
The reason why he's, like, obsessed with Jake and destroying his life is because he likes Jake's girlfriend, Jessica Biel, who's Allie, I think her name is.
Yeah, Allie.
Yeah, so he has a crush on Allie, and I guess... Alright, so there's a part in the beginning of the movie where... Alright, so they established that Eddie has, like, a brand new, like, SUV. And he's like, he's driving backwards for some reason, like talking to them, like, and they're walking along, and he's like driving backwards and not paying attention. And he smashes the car into a BMW. However, later on that day, when it's time for Eddie to drive back to New York, his car is in perfect condition again.
Oh yeah, the next day.
Like, there's no way he would have gotten like that damage corrected immediately.
Well, maybe it wasn't that bad damage.
They showed it like pretty good. Like they did like a quick shot of like the car, like the back end being smashed up, and then like in the next scene, his car is in perfect condition again.
Yeah, true.
Like if you had to, even if like he did take it to a mechanic, it's going to take days for like the company to get a bumper, especially like right before Christmas Eve too.
Yeah.
And what is all right?
So Eddie. Okay, yeah.
What is the time frame of this? Like what this? So Jake has to get back to New York by Christmas Eve, and
yes, he has to be home by 6 p.m. Christmas Eve.
And if he gets home by 6 p.m. Christmas Eve, he'll get a Porsche.
I actually looked it up. I Google mapped it. I Google mapped like Halstead, California, LA to Larchmont, New York. It's about just over like a 2-day drive.
No, that's if you went nonstop and didn't stop 600 times.
So it's doable. Like the time frame is doable. He has to. So it's like a few days before Christmas. Like a week before Christmas. This is another part where it's like weird to me that he's like it's maybe like just a boarding high school kind of thing, because these parents are letting their kids drive back across country.
Yeah, there was like the jock gang, I believe they all drove home together, right?
Yeah.
And doesn't it seem weird that everyone like so they go to school in Palisades, California, but they all live in like the same place where they come from?
Yeah, a bunch of them all live in like the New York area.
Yeah, like, and I believe Allie and Jake live in the same town.
Yes. So this is my thing with the Allie Jake thing. I'm betting they've probably been like friends for a while, maybe boyfriend girlfriend for a while, and they both decided to go to this boarding school.
Well,
maybe just both their parents like are people who send their kids to boarding school.
I got the impression that
and they picked the same one.
That Allie probably like went there first, and then Jake insisted with his father because his father was like, I agreed for you to go to school in California only if you came home for Christmas. So I bet you Allie went there first, and then Jake like followed her there. He probably like conned his way into the school.
Yeah, probably.
And then,
or like Allie's parents are like the boarding school type parents. And then Jake, because, okay, here's the deal with Jake. Jake does not want to go home for Christmas because he does not like spending the holiday with his dad, his sister, and his stepmother.
Yeah, because Jake's
he feels
mom...
really uncomfortable with the stepmother. He's not okay with the fact that his father got remarried so quickly after his mother passed away. Which, at 18, I kind of don't blame him.
And, Jake's, like...
You know?
Jake's sister's annoying, too. Like, she's kind of, like, the typical annoying, like, preteen sister, too. So, like, it seems like they don't get along. Just that stereotypical little sibling. Like, they have, like phone conversations with each other, and they call each other, like, nerd and fart breath and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so. Jake, like, as I think I previously mentioned, he's like a con man. So his father buys him a plane ticket, and he exchanges the plane ticket for tickets to Cabo San Lucas, because he thinks that Allie will want to go with him. Like, even though she, like, already made plans to go back to New York, she's just like, he expects that she's going to decline and just go, like, to Mexico or where the hell this place is.
Yeah, he just thinks, okay, so even if they're, like, 18, I still just don't see this girl being like, yeah, let's go to Cabo instead of home for Christmas.
And can you just, like, easily exchange, like, plane tickets like that, too?
I have no idea.
I don't think you can. Like, I don't think, I can book a trip to, like, Los Angeles and be like, you know what, I changed my mind. I want to go to Chicago instead. They'd probably be, like, a hefty
I want to, like, trade these tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then, like, it's not even...
I've never, like... I don't fly that often. So when I fly, I'm going somewhere because I need to be somewhere.
Yeah, like, you're definitely going.
It's not like I need to go... I was going to go to Florida, but you know what? Instead, I think I'm going to go to Alaska. That's not going to happen.
But Jake has a change of heart because his father agrees that if he gets home by 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve, he'll hand him over the vintage 1957 Porsche that the two have been working on forever. And it convinces Jake that he needs to get home, so he then goes back to his girlfriend and makes it just seem like that, you know, he was wrong, you know, Cabo San Lucas was a dumb idea. Let's just go to New York instead. And they're gonna fly together.
Yeah,
and
but then he trades in the tickets again. He gets the tickets traded in again.
Back to New York. So they're gonna fly together the next day.
To New York.
And so this is where Eddie and the jocks, they I don't know what happens, but so they're at a party like late at night, like the drinking party that we previously established, and Jake wakes up the next day in the desert dressed as Santa Claus. So how did they get Jake drunk? Did they drug him? Did they, like, it doesn't look like they knocked him up because it didn't have, like, any signs of, like, abuse.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what exactly they did. Because, again, let's remember, this is a Disney movie, so everything's probably implied.
Like, did they, like, force him to drink? Did they, like, spike his drink? Because the scene before they show him waking up...
Because of the way... I get the feeling that Jake was probably hungover. And so they probably got him drunk. And then stole his clothes and dressed him in the Santa suit, gluing the beard and the hat to his head.
See, that's what I thought, but the scene before he wakes up in the desert, all the jocks grab him, they, like, corner him like they're gonna beat him up, and then the scene changes.
Yeah.
So it's like, did they kidnap him and then, like, force him to drink? Like, I just don't understand. Or, like, just kidding, Jake, drink with us instead. And
yeah, they were probably like, oh, Jake, we're gonna forgive you, it's Christmas. Drink up!
But
then next thing he knows, he wakes up in the desert, dressed as Santa.
Which just seems like they could have, like, he could have died out there.
Yeah, he could have. Like, let's dress the guy up in a thick Santa suit and leave him in the desert.
Like, it was miles.
To be fair, though, the desert is cold at night.
But he wakes up in the morning, it's sunny, and it's clearly hot, and there's vultures around him. Like, he could have just, like, some kind of poisonous rattlesnake could have bitten him. The vultures could have just thought he was dead and devoured him.
Yeah.
They're just like the
So
jocks could have been murderers, and there probably was witnesses. I imagine, like at this party, there was probably witnesses.
Someone had to have seen them, like, leave with Jake. Eventually, someone was going to notice Jake was missing.
Yes, and so this was all a plot so that Eddie could then drive home back to New York with Allie, because Allie was waiting outside for Jake to come pick him up, and he never showed up.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so Jake doesn't show up, and Allie accepts the ride from Eddie because all her friends have already left.
But you know what's kind of weird?
Okay. I feel, though, that if Allie's friends were really her friends, they would have waited until Jake got there with her. They didn't strand her.
And two other plot holes. So Jake had 2 plane tickets. One was for Allie. She probably still could have gotten on the plane. She could have just like got the tickets at the from the front desk and
at the counter.
And it seemed like that she was already planning on going home anyway. So I imagine she could have already just called her dad, and like her father probably would have just bought her a plane ticket.
Yeah, I don't understand why she had to ride with Eddie, but without that, a big chunk of the movie is missing.
Yeah, but it's weird though, because it's like you think that she's going to go home for Christmas Eve. It's like a day or two before Christmas, and then she's just going to drive across the entire country. And then just come back like a week later? Like what? How long? If this is a high school, that it's not like they're going to get like a long break.
Yeah.
And so like a chunk of the time will just be them driving. I don't know. It just questionable. I question their parents.
And they're high school kids. Who's trusting high schoolers to drive across country?
Especially like 2 young girls.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Eddie offers to take her. She grudgingly goes along. She's like, fine, I need to get home. And
she sets ground rules with him.
Yeah, she's like, no.
Basically, she's allowed to punch him if he says something stupid.
Yeah.
Or offensive.
And she also can punch him for no reason at all. If she decides that she just wants to punch him, that she can. And then, so he basically, like, he allows, like, Allie just to control the radio. So, like, she just listens to horrible, like, late 90s music the whole way home.
Yeah, oh God, what did she have? She had Aqua playing, and not even, like, Barbie Girl. It was some other Aqua song.
Oh, yeah.
Then, what was it, Fiona Apple or something, I think?
Fiona Apple, I think Jewel. They make a reference to Jewel and somebody else. And,
yeah, Jewel's good, though. That was, like, when Jewel was still good.
And I also noticed that she had a Smash Mouth poster in her dorm too.
Oh my gosh!
I kept trying to look at the posters on Jake's wall, but the camera were moving around too much, so I couldn't get a clear shot. Mm-hmm. But in the one scene that takes place inside Allie's dorm, you can just clearly see the Smash Mouth poster.
Yeah,
I always wonder. Like, the set decorators are just like, I wonder what kids are into these days. And they just decide Smash Mouth, which I don't think it was ever really cool to like Smash Mouth. But you might have liked a song, but would you actually go out and buy a Smash Mouth poster?
No. Okay, so 1998. What posters did I have in my room? December 1998, I had...
You probably had JTT.
Backstreet Boys. In Sync, of course. Dawson's Creek.
They had Dawson's Creek posters?
That's the kind of stuff I had on my walls.
Well, I figure like a teenage girl would only hang up a poster of a band if they thought the band members were cute. And I don't think it's is Smash Mouth, are they a handsome band?
No. Sorry, Smash Mouth, if you're listening, but no.
You might like the song "I Remember Walking in the Sun" or whatever it was, but I still wouldn't just go out and buy a Smash Mouth poster.
Yeah, like I said, my posters were In Sync, Backstreet Boys, Dawson's Creek stuff, like that.
And do you know what also would have ended this movie really quickly too? Is if cell phones were popular at this point in time.
Oh my god, I know. I'm just like, oh my god. All he needs is a cell phone and this whole thing.
Would be over.
All he and Allie need are some cell phones and this whole movie is just over.
Yeah, because he can't get in touch with Allie because she's on the road. But if he came across a payphone and called Allie's cell phone, he can explain to her what happened. But he's trying to call her dorm, and he's trying to leave a message, but like her voicemail shuts off after like 2 seconds, so he can only get in words at a time.
He goes, Santa Buzzard Tumbleweed or something like that.
He says like Santa Claus Desert Tumbleweed Vulture or something. Like something that doesn't even make sense. Like, why can't you just be like, Eddie kidnapped me, like Eddie drugged me?
So he's just like, well, because you gotta think he's panicked and he's got this like creepy guy going, local calls only.
Oh yeah, because he's at he finds like a gas station near the desert.
Yeah.
And so then he gets depressed there. So he tries to call his father, and he explains to his father what happened, but his father doesn't believe him because he always lies.
Yeah. The dad just thinks the kid doesn't want to come home.
Yeah, and so
he's like trying to scam him out of something.
Yeah, so he's explained to his father that he got kidnapped by the jocks, dressed up like Santa Claus, and dumped in the desert. And the father's like, "That's the worst alibi you've ever said." He's like, "You need to be home by 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve," and he just hangs up the phone. And this old lady just is nearby. She's she's gassing up. She's headed to Las Vegas to see Tom Jones. And she feels bad, so she decides to take Jake along. So this is the first of his calamities, I guess. So they're all singing "What's New, Pussycat" in the car. So it's 4 elderly women, and Jake is in the back seat, and
he's hot. He feels gross because he's got this Santa suit on, and they're old ladies. So and it's an old car. There's no air conditioning. They're in the middle of the desert. They're driving to Las Vegas.
They don't have the windows down. The windows are up.
Yeah, they won't crack open a window, and he's probably hungover. And then they're kind of the 2 ladies in the back seat are kind of bitchy to him.
Oh yeah, actually, one lady's sleeping, and her false teeth fall out and land on Jake's lap. And the lady on the other side,
and then the other one
is bitchy to him.
Yeah, the lady on the other side is just mean. And then they start opening pickles, and they spill pickle juice all over him, so he throws up. And then they get mad at him because he threw up.
And he threw up in the driver's handbag. So then they just pull over and just dump him on the side of the road. And they're like, "Get out of here. Get out of our car."
Yeah.
And they basically
they're
just
"You're done."
They just pull over on the side of the highway and just leave him there. I think he's near a farm. He's near some kind of goat farm or something. And
he's near a fruit stand because Eddie and Allie are at the fruit stand across the street.
Jake sees them.
That's when he finds out that Eddie is with Allie.
Yeah, because Jake sees them, but he's on the other side of the road. And he tries to get across the street, but he can't because there's too many cars coming. And Eddie sees it happening.
And then Eddie sees him.
And he immediately takes off. Allie's kind of "Why we're in a rush?" And he's Eddie's we're already behind a few hours. We need to make up for lost time or something. So then, Jake, instead of just walks along the highway. He's, why doesn't he just turn around and just go back to the school and figure out another way to get home? And he has airline tickets, so why doesn't he just go to the find a way to the airport?
He has an airline ticket. Well, you know what? Maybe the school's locked up.
Yeah, but he can still go to the front desk at the airport and just be "I lost my tickets." I don't know.
Well, he doesn't have his ID either.
Oh yeah, that's right. But I would make an effort to get to the airport.
That's a problem later on.
Yeah, that becomes a problem later on. But instead of just trying to find a way to the airport, he just walks along the highway, and then
he starts hitchhiking. Nobody picks him up that first day, but he's walking, and he ends up in a small town, and he sleeps in the town Santa display.
Oh yeah, it's
he throws out the stuffed Santa.
The security guard then finds him sleeping in the Santa sled and then kicks him out. So now he's still just stumbling along the highway, And then like this guy Nolan, who's driving in like a van, he's driving around with like stolen kitchen goods.
Yeah.
And he's actually driving to New York. Like he's actually going from wherever they are. They're in like still the desert part of the country. He has like a van full of like kitchen mixers, vacuums,
Black & Decker toasters and mixers. It's just like the most random electronics. And
he just happens to be driving to New York. And he's driving along and he's like eating a sandwich, but he like the tomato falls out of his sandwich.
He drops the tomato. The tomato falls out. He goes to like get it, even though he's still driving, and he starts crossing traffic. And Jake is on the side of the road, like thinking, "Oh, somebody's going to come pull me up." And then this van comes careening towards him. Jake dives out of the way just in time as Nolan stops the van. And Nolan's like, "Oh my God, I killed Santa! I killed Santa! Oh my God!" And he gets out, and there's Jake laying in the snow. And Nolan's like, "Oh my God, thank God I didn't kill Santa."
Did Jake get hit by the car, or did he jump out of the way? I feel
like it was kind of like he jumped and just maybe got hit, like a little kind of like thing.
Yeah, well, because it looked like he was like way off the side of the road, like he got like flown. That's why I thought like he might have got hit and just got like hit in the right spot where it didn't really injure him that well.
Mm-hmm.
But Nolan basically,
I feel like he was jumping out of the way when the point of contact probably happened.
He probably should have just...
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess so. But it's not really, like, it wasn't a clear scene, so I just wasn't sure what was happening. And, so Nolan takes him along the road, and they end up catching up to Eddie and Allie. They see, like, the car, right?
Yeah.
They end up finding the car.
He's like, girlfriend, and Nolan's like, that guy has Mrs. Claus, and he starts speeding up trying to catch them.
Yeah, this guy Nolan's...
At one point, Eddie sees them and then freaks out.
Yeah, Nolan's like not all there. He's kind of like a stoner, but he's kind of slow. Like he actually thinks that JTT is Santa Claus. He doesn't think that he's like...
Yeah, he totally thinks he's Santa.
Like he calls him Santa. He doesn't realize that he's just a 18-year-old kid in a Santa costume.
Yeah.
He legitimately thinks that he's Santa Claus, and then he's like, why is Mrs. Claus with another guy? And he's like, oh. So he decides that they have to catch up to the car, and that's when they get pulled over by, like, the worst cop in all of the state.
Officer Max.
Yeah. So,
State Trooper.
JTT's...
Colorado.
JTT's like, all right, we need to switch seats. He's like, I got this. Just play along with me. So, Jake comes up with a scheme that... Jake's a Santa Claus, like for charity, he's driving over to the next town, and Nolan is his elf named Snowball or Snowpuff, and they're gonna go to like a children's hospital.
Snowball, I think.
Yeah, Snowball, and they're gonna be delivering goods to like the local children's hospital. And the police officer is like, "Oh, you must be going to like Red Hills or something." He's like, "Hey, just follow me. I'll take you there." Redcliffe. He's like, oh, you must be going to Redcliffe. He's like, follow me. He's like, I'll take you there. So JTT follows the cop there, Officer Max, follows him to the hospital, and then he wants to go into the hospital with them. So now...
Yeah, he wants... They cannot get rid of this cop. This cop, like, wants to be a part of this good deed that they're doing, but they're not really doing.
Yeah, so they decide that they have to give all the stolen goods to the kids. So, like, there's little kids that are getting, like, Black & Decker toaster ovens, like, kitchen mixers as presents. I think one kid gets a vacuum cleaner.
Clock radios.
Yeah. And then, so they end up giving all the stolen goods away. And then this one kid comes up, and he's, like, a little Mexican kid, and he doesn't want the gift. All he wants for Christmas is he just wants to go home and not be sick in the hospital anymore. And everyone...
Yeah, and he wants to spend it with his family and his dog. And
everyone gets sad.
It gets everybody right in the field.
Everyone's sad. So Nolan then decides that he wants to go back home instead of going to New York. So he...
Yeah, there's this moment where, like, all three men are at the payphone bank. Which you would never see today. You would never see that.
No.
But they're all on the phone.
Nolan's
like, I gotta go make things right with my girlfriend. And Jake tries to call home, but the stepmother answers. So he's like, never mind.
Yeah, he's like, never mind. And so Nolan basically takes off. He decides he doesn't want to go east. He's going back west. So Jake is kind of like back in the same boat. However, Officer Max has a little bit of a conundrum. He broke up with his girlfriend Marjorie.
Yeah, his wife Marjorie left him because he was out all night at the bar with his ex-girlfriend.
And they might have smooched.
They might have smooched. And so she left and went to Nebraska to work at a steakhouse.
And for some reason, Max wants Jake to go with him
and help him woo his woman back.
I don't understand why Max thinks that like Jake has this magic power though. Like why he's just like, oh, he's like,
I don't either. He's like, go with me.
But Jake needs a ride and he's going in the right direction, so he agrees to go. So they stop off at this steakhouse.
And Max agreed to buy him a bus ticket to New York if it worked.
If it works, okay. So Jake ends up there at the steakhouse, and it's not even like that hard. Like it very quickly, Marjorie forgives Max.
Yeah, well, after he sings this ridiculous song.
Yeah, like he just sings an awful song. Marjorie's like, "Oh," and they get back together, and Max buys Jake the bus ticket. And you would think that the story's gonna, he's gonna get home in New York in time. However, Allie and Eddie, on their way to New York, they decide to stop off at some like Christmas themed like novelty hotel.
It's like a Bavarian Village hotel in Iowa.
Okay, so I guess it's really popular because it makes the news.
Yeah, it's like one of those cheesy things that's popular. It does maybe one of those local stories. It's like a local story, like, oh, look at what this place is doing for Christmas. And Jake sees it on the news at the bus depot. And
Allie and Eddie are under the mistletoe, so they have to kiss because it's like the rule.
And yeah, because that's what you do under mistletoe.
Yeah, so now Jake is on this bus, and he's like, shit, we need to get to the Bavarian Village. So he's trying to talk the bus driver into going to the Bavarian Village instead of New York, which is just impossible. That'll never happen. You'll never get the bus driver to go off trail.
Yeah.
However, he finds a cooler.
And then Jake comes up with the most ridiculous idea, and that it works.
He takes an ice cooler, a slab of meat, and he writes Allie's name and address on the cooler, and convinces the whole bus that the cooler needs to be delivered to a little girl at the Bavarian Village for a transplant.
Crayons to write her name.
And
so a full bus of people, everybody falls for an ice chest. Nobody notices their ice chest is missing.
Nope. and
that the name and information is written in crayon, and there seems to be no courier for this.
Yeah, so the whole bus...
It's the kind of thing that gets, sent by helicopter.
Yeah, not on, a public transportation.
We've all watched ER. We know it's by a helicopter because there was totally, one of those last episodes of ER where, Dr. John Carter needed, an organ, and it came from the hospital where Carol and Doug were working in Seattle or something.
Yeah, it's not coming on, a Greyhound bus.
Yeah, it's not coming via a bus written in crayon.
Not coming a bus that no one seems to have claimed it. It's just on the bus.
No, so we have Santa to deliver it though. And the army guy's yeah, we have to do this. And the bus driver's fine.
So the bus driver goes off.
It's so ridiculous.
Goes off course, and so now they get to the Bavarian Village. Jake ends up finding the room somehow because I think The front desk clerk won't give out the information. Instead, Jake just finds a housekeeper that has a chart.
Yeah, he finds the housekeeper's list of rooms and
he sees Eddie's name, I guess,
and figures it out.
And so he goes into Eddie's room. He's just in in a towel because he just got out of the shower, and now he thinks that Eddie and Allie slept with each other. But
okay, here's another thing: they have to be at least 18.
Because they checked into a hotel?
Because how are you going to rent a hotel room if you're younger? Don't you have to be 18 to rent a hotel room?
I believe so.
So, again, why are these high schoolers driving across country?
And they could have just taken a plane, a normal kid. And then, like, their parents are rich enough, if they sent them away to this boarding school, they obviously can afford a plane ticket.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I didn't go to boarding school, you didn't go to boarding school, but I feel like that's the kind of thing where, like, the parent, or the school probably has shuttles to the airport that, like, day everybody's leaving.
Yeah, like one big-ass bus that goes. I don't know.
Yeah, like, or maybe, like, a few, like, maybe you have a later flight, you know what I mean? Like,
but
who's trusting high schoolers to drive across country?
But wait, it gets even wackier because, so Allie ends up like revealing that, you know, she didn't do anything with Eddie. This is all just like, she's just using him for a ride. And Jake accidentally reveals that he has to get home by 6 p.m. And Allie's like, why? Why do you need to get home by 6 p.m.? All Jake had to be was just like, oh, because that's what time it's Christmas dinner. Instead, he just like reveals that he's only going home for getting the Porsche and not for her. So she gets mad. She storms out of the room and then just goes onto Jake's bus and just like takes his seat.
She's like, I'm taking his spot on the bus, and everybody's like, okay.
Yeah, they just let her on the bus takes off. So now Jake and Eddie like are driving together. They kind of become friends for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, they're like gonna go along, and then like Eddie's like, wait a minute, you're gonna be cooler than me if you have this Porsche.
Yeah, so
and then just drops Jake off in the middle of Wisconsin.
Yeah, so this is where Jake's next scheme is that he finds out there's like a Santa Claus race. Everyone dresses up like Santa Claus and runs, and you can win $1,000.
He just happens to luck into this.
Yeah, so the prize is $1,000. So he knows that it can get him a plane ticket. So he's wearing the Santa suit. That's a little given. So he enters the race and he wins.
Yeah, he wins.
Like,
and he's got the cash. He's feeling good. He's like, I'm going to get home. Everything's going to be okay.
But then when he's on the taxi,
stupid taxi driver.
The taxi driver tells him that usually the mayor wins every year, and he uses the prize money to buy turkeys for the needy. And Jake feels bad and just goes back to the mayor's house and gives him the money.
Like, okay, you know what Jake could have done? He could have bought his plane ticket.
And then gave the rest of the
money
away.
Or train ticket or whatever he was going to get. And then give him the rest.
Yeah. He's not obligated to buy turkeys. And, like, you know what? $1,000 will probably buy a lot of turkeys, but a plane ticket will probably only be like $200. And then $800 will still buy a lot of turkeys.
Yeah, or maybe it's more expensive because it's the day of.
Yeah, I don't know. So now
I don't know how busy flying on Christmas Eve is, though.
But it's not going to be $1,000, and you're still going to have leftover money to give. And like if
he gives like all the money back.
And if the town
the mayor's like, well, you can stay here with us, and he's like, no, I've got places to go.
And if the town was so worried,
Jake calls home. What?
If the town was so worried about like having money for the poor, like they would just find another they could have the Santa Claus race, but then maybe have some other kind of event that would give money to the needy.
Or have like a food donation for it or something
like the town relies on the mayor's money. Like what happens if the mayor doesn't win? Then somebody else wins.
Yeah, like what happens? What happens if the Kenyan guy wins?
Yeah,
he's not going to buy you turkeys.
No, I forgot there was a Kenyan in the race. Like he flew all the way out here for this Santa Claus race.
Yeah, it was to be fair, it was mostly a bunch of fat guys.
Yeah.
Dressed as Santa.
And
the mayor, Jake, and a guy from Kenya.
And they were the only three fit people. They're the only ones that clearly win this race. But now, alright, so Jake now has no money. He had $1,000, but he doesn't have $1,000 anymore. So he calls his sister. His 12-year-old sister gets him an airline ticket from Wisconsin. And
so, and of course, this is 1998. Let's be honest. Buying an airplane ticket online is not something you really did in 1998.
You could.
You had to have found a travel agent.
Yeah, but you would definitely would need a credit card.
Yeah.
So the little girl obviously
and again,
stole
1998. a 12-year-old girl is not going to have a debit card or anything.
Yep. She clearly, like, talked to the
Because I feel
airline.
like back then, maybe that was, like, when people were moving from passbooks to the card.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like, if she had a bank account, she wasn't going to have a debit card.
And she definitely called the airline ahead of time because she gave the airline a password that Jake has to give.
Yeah.
Which...
Yeah, I think they even explained, like, she's like, I'm giving you this password because my brother has lost his ID, but he needs to come home, but he's going to be the only one to have this password.
And so Jake gives the password, which is like, I'm a stinky, butt-loving dude or something like that, and my sister is the best, which is the password. It's something like obnoxious like that. And then the clerk is like...
It's a total kind of thing like a younger sibling's going to make an older sibling say after years of torture.
Yeah. So then the airline clerk is like, all right, you got the password right, but you still need photographic evidence of yourself. So...
And he's like, well, that's what the password was for.
And she's like, sorry, I don't make up the rules. So then, this is definitely like a pre-9/11 world because he sneaks on the plane through like a dog kennel crate.
Yeah, this is like so pre-9/11, but it's still not as bad as Magnum, I think.
Just people on Magnum PI, people just allowed to like enter the military airbase.
Just enter any part of the airport with weapons.
Or like a fake, you just give a fake name to at the desk.
Snuck into a dog carrier. It wasn't like he was... And you know what? Jake wasn't on a commercial flight. He was on like a...
It was like a single engine
courier plane or something.
Yeah, it was like a single engine plane.
Yeah.
It was like a small plane. He was in the stowaway. He was in the dog kennel with a dog.
Yeah.
And then from there, doesn't he hide on a train?
Yeah, he like gets on a train and then he gets thrown off because he doesn't have any money.
Yeah, but he hides on the train though. He like sneaks on the train too, right?
Well, here's the thing with like trains, you can get on without the ticket and just buy the ticket on the train back east. Can't you? Like
a commuter.
Like if you have a conductor like that.
No, I've definitely.
I think it's like an Amtrak you can.
I've definitely had to buy a train ticket ahead of time.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I feel like you can do it. Like maybe you used to be able to, maybe you can't. I know like they have machines that you can buy the tickets at now, so it's like you shouldn't have to buy your ticket on the train.
Well, you have to get the ticket from a counter or the machine. Then you have to come up and show like your photo ID when you get on the train.
Really? Wow. It's been a long time since I've like ridden a non-tourist steam train, so.
Okay. But he sneaks on a train and then he steals I guess he's now in his town or like nearby his town.
Mm-hmm.
And he like steals like a sleigh. He like steals like is there like a parade or something going on?
Well, no. First he rides on top of the car.
Oh yeah,
he climbs on top of somebody's car and rides on top of it until he gets into his town.
Yeah.
And then he like barely makes it off alive. And then he steals the sleigh from the parade.
And he just like kicks a guy off the
and he goes
horse.
And picks up Allie.
Yeah, like at this point, like you would think like the police would like be chasing him at this point.
Like something. Well, nobody noticed he was on top of the car except for the kid.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I would notice if there was somebody on my car, or somebody around me would notice.
Yeah. So
don't you think?
Definitely, like other cars too would definitely beep and be like, "Dude, there's somebody on top of your car."
Like you get flashing headlights or something like.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Or like a police officer would pull you over.
Yeah, like what's with the kid on your car? Car surfing is not legal.
Yeah. So then after doing that, then he steals a sleigh, like a 1-horse open sleigh. He takes the sleigh to Allie's house and like makes up with her first, and I guess she, it's a Disney movie, so like she instantly falls back in love with him.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even have to explain himself. So then she hops in the sleigh with him, and he actually gets home at 5:59. but he intentionally
he waits outside.
He intentionally waits till 6:01 to go inside, and because I guess now he wants to prove to her that he's not going to get the Porsche. The dad is basically like, "I'll give you the Porsche."
It's not just about the Porsche. He's grown. He's a better person now because of his cross-country journey.
Yeah,
that nobody would ever believe.
But Jake's dad feels bad, so he gives him the Porsche anyway. But Jake still refuses. He's like, "Not until we're finished like rebuilding the car," which they showed it. It looks like it was done.
Like it was done. Like Jake's like, that was Jake's way of saying, I'm gonna come home for Christmas from now on. Because this is the other thing. Apparently Jake hasn't come home for Christmas the last few years.
Yeah, like
again, high school student. Where was this kid?
He was at the boarding school he just decided to he would always make up a lie. He would say that he needed to get extra credit or something, or he was training to be an ultimate fighting
But
champion.
where do you think Jake really was? Like, was Jake going to Cabo? Was Jake going to Tahoe to ski or something? Like, what do you think Jake was doing?
He was probably just bumming around the campus by himself, maybe just plotting schemes.
Maybe.
Yeah. But this is the best part of the movie, though. The end, right here. So this is where it gets even funnier. All right, so Jake finally accepts his stepmother, and they have this family moment. So the Jake's whole family and Allie, they get back in the sleigh, and then instead of they just rejoin the parade, and nobody's
the parade just happens to be passing by.
Yeah, and nobody's upset that the person who stole the sleigh. They just allow, it back into the parade. No one is just wait, why is this...
Yeah, they let him and his family into the parade.
Why is this teenager, driving the sleigh? And, all right, let's just let him in the procession.
Yeah, it was so cheesy, so Disney cheesy.
And then the camera just, pans away, and it's the end of the movie, the credits roll.
And then an NSYNC song starts to play.
Oh, it was an NSYNC song, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas. So, because Jessica Biel, of course, married Justin Timberlake.
Oh, yeah, okay, but this was definitely, way before they were together.
Oh, yeah. This is, way. He was still with Britney.
Yeah, he did. This is NSYNC wasn't really, in sync at this point in time. This is, real early in sync.
NSYNC was still, this was early of the NSYNC explosion.
The very beginning.
They had the Christmas album, which is, one of the greatest Christmas albums ever.
NSYNC Christmas album?
In my opinion. Oh my god, yes. NSYNC and the 98 Degrees Christmas album are two of my favorites. Okay. If you say so. I'll send you some copies if you want.
I'm okay with that.
I think I'm okay.
I'll pass on that one.
But yeah, you'll pass, of course. So yeah, this is before Justin Timberlake became Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, I feel like NSYNC didn't really fully explode till maybe 2000, 2001. And then
99 is probably 98, 99. This is the year where NSYNC really blew up.
Yeah, but they definitely would have had to film this movie probably at the beginning of 98 or late 97. So it's not.
Well, yeah, NSYNC existed then.
No, they were around, but they weren't they were in sync, but they weren't huge. They weren't
But by the time they put out the Christmas album, when they put out the Christmas album, this movie was out.
Oh,
it was coming out, so.
Right. And I guess the movie...
And you have the Disney connection between Justin and JC. So Disney's going to use an NSYNC song.
Yes, they own
Since they were both Musketeers.
Yeah, they own the music, probably. Or have some kind of relationship.
They had a relationship. Because I think NSYNC also had done a few Disney specials and stuff.
Yeah, they probably used their music. It was poppy. It was It was probably cheap for them to obtain it.
And they already knew that Justin and JC were safe boys. So Joey and Chris and Lance were safe boys too.
A faith boy?
Safe. good boys. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
Safe. Oh, safe.
not bad boys.
Okay. Yeah, it worked. Do you know what I was surprised to read about this movie? It did horrible in the box office.
I know.
It's
opened, a total bomb. It did terribly in the box office.
The movie only all of its run only grossed $12 million, and the movie cost $30 million to make. So it was just like,
yeah,
it probably ruined JTT's like film career.
Yeah, I don't think he's done a movie since, like a major movie since.
Hold on. Like he's in movies, but I've never he's in a movie called Walking Across Egypt that came out in 1999. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
But I feel like this movie must have tried, they probably heavily promoted it. It also came out the same weekend as Pleasantville.
Oh, see, everybody went to see Pleasantville.
Yeah, and Pleasantville always was it like an Oscar winner, maybe?
Yeah. Like, Pleasantville was like the movie that year.
Yeah, they came out the same day, and it... Let me just see its reception. It's... Actually, though, Pleasantville only earned $8.9 million over its opening weekend, and I'll Be Home for Christmas only made about $3 million, so it wasn't like that big of a difference, but...
Huh. There must have been something going on that just wasn't a movie weekend.
Alright, so let's see. I wonder if you can... November releases? Can you find that on Wikipedia?
You probably could, and I'm sure it's somewhere.
Can you do it by
If I can find what TV shows aired what nights in 1984 or whatever, I think we can find like what movies were released in November 1998.
Yeah, I'm not really that worried about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
All right. So overall, what did you think of the movie?
Well, like I said before, this is one of my favorite Christmas movies.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it.
I don't know why it's one of my favorite. I think it's just like it's fun. It's a little bit different than the like super saccharine, like oh my god kind of thing you get a lot. And I love Christmas movies.
I love road movies too, like Beavis and Butthead, or just like movies that involve going across the country. So it's a Christmas version of that, I guess. So I guess that's why I kind of enjoyed it.
Well, yeah, and you know, it's still kind of wholesome, and he meets like fun characters. Like, there's really nobody like scary. In most road movies, there's usually like some kind of sketchy person they meet.
Yeah,
along the way.
There's like someone chasing them or something, or they...
Yeah.
Like they're on the run from the police or something. They were like... They're on the run from something, like someone's chasing them. But in this, it's not really like that. I guess they didn't want like kids or teenagers to be scared. I don't know. It is a Disney movie.
Yeah. It's just one that I like. It's fun to watch.
And it seems like it sets the template for all the Hallmark Christmas movies and the Lifetime Christmas movies that are just...
Yeah, which I am a total, glutton for.
And everything just ends... everything's magical and happy and everything...
Everything just has, that nice happy ending. I watched the new Lifetime one with Mayim Bialik and Ryan McPartlin the other day, and I was watching it off iTunes, and I was sitting here oh my god, this is so beautiful. Plus, I had Carl and Harriet Winslow reunited, so...
Wonderful. So looking ahead, as I said, this is a bonus episode for Christmas. We're also going to try to squeeze in another bonus episode.
Or maybe two more?
But I think we should definitely... should we announce what the next episode will be? Or do we want it to be a surprise?
We could tell them what it is.
All right. Well, because we want people to get ready and find it and watch it and stuff like that. So, all right. So we've already done a teen soap. We did Beverly Hills earlier this month, and I don't know. We kind of want to keep that tradition alive, so we're going to do the first Chrismukkah episode of the OC.
Yes.
Which
I'm so excited.
Where can we find this? Did we decide? But I've already forgotten.
You can go to CW Seed. So CWSEED.com, or download the app for your phone or tablet or whatever. And they have all the episodes of OC.
Nice. So we're going to go into CWC.com, or just Google the OC, I guess, or CW. You will find it, and you can watch it.
Yeah.
And I believe the episode is called The Best Christmas Ever, maybe, or something along those lines?
The Best Christmas Ever, yes.
All right. So it's a season 1 episode, and enjoy it, and listen to us talk about it this week. So as always,
bye.
Until next time.